You took everything from me! What's up, guys? Welcome to our channel, Triple Side Podcast. Today we're doing a one-off of
WondaVision, episode 1 and 2.
So, for me personally, Marvel is doing this, and they've taken a lot of risks going the direction that they've gone, with going old school sitcoms, 50s, 60s, 70s, and obviously they're moving through the decades. And for me, I grew up with that, like I Love Lucy, Bewitched, Dick Van Dyke, I Dream of Jeannie, and there's a lot of that. But yeah, for me personally though, it's really cool, and like it gives you that nostalgic feel of those sitcoms with a live audience. And then also, the thing that I love about this so far is you're clueless, but you already have the characters developed between Wanda and Vision, and seeing them as a couple, their chemistry is like off the charts. And that's one thing that I really like about this, is you have to admit that their chemistry is on point with the show.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that looking at the show, I'm looking at a couple.
Yeah. But I know that you have, from your perspective, because we kind of talked about this already, you kind of have nitpicks, and your nitpicks are...
My nitpicks are pretty much the show is based on a 50s style, like, I guess, editing to it, where I didn't grow up in that era. I also grew up in a household where my parents are immigrants from Mexico. So for me, I'm like,
Novelas.
we watch WondaVision, we watch Telemundo, you know? So for me, that wasn't something that I grew up watching. So it wasn't nostalgic to me. But something that I do believe in is that I'm invested in the characters already from what previously Marvel has done, and as well as kind of what they're setting up to for the rest of the universe that Marvel has, right? So for me, that's the reason why I was intrigued in watching the show, because I was like, okay, well, if this is playing on something bigger, then I'm interested. If they're gonna only do a show that's based in the 50s, that's not something that I'm like willing to watch.
Yeah, so they're pacing it throughout the decades, starting in the 50s, and clearly what you can kind of gather in the story is Wanda's creating this, most likely, this universe to bring Vision back to life and to have more time with Vision.
Yeah.
And we're getting glimpses of things going wrong, in terms of her realizing that this isn't real, and Vision almost picking up with it, but before he does, she changes things. The first instance of that is when she finds the helicopter, and it's in color, and everything else is in black and white, and she's just staring at it. And then Agnes, who is probably Agna Harkness from the comics,
the old lady,
Agna Harkness from the comics, which is a witch, which probably might have something to do with this as well, the alternate reality. That's the first time that things break, and she's like, what's going on here? And it has the symbol of S.W.O.R.D, and S.W.O.R.D is probably the new shield. So that's all very interesting. And then the second time is with the beekeeper in episode 2. And right when she sees the beekeeper come out of the sewer, she's like, no! And it rewinds and goes back. So obviously she's in control of this reality, and she's trying to keep everything together. So, and one thing I really liked about it was there's a eerie, ominous feel to it. Like when they're having dinner with Vision's boss and wife.
Oh, yeah.
There's a real ominous feel, like when he's asking the questions. When did you get married? Where? And then he starts choking, and then she's just staring at him like he wants him to die. And you're just like, oh, what?
She was confused, I feel like.
I don't know. It felt sinister to me a little bit. And then finally she decides, Vision, help him. Because even the wife is like, stop playing. Like she's just stuck in that character, and she's not has no real emotions to anything going on.
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts on the episode, the first 2 episodes, was that it's playing a lot of fanfare for comic book
there's
people.
deep comic book lore.
And again, I love Marvel as what they've done with the movies and everything.
Marvel proper.
Marvel proper. But
Disney.
As far as the comic book like fanfare that they're doing, great, cool. But I don't think that's gonna necessarily feed the show all the way to becoming something great. Because it's great that you're giving these big Easter eggs and you're paying homage to, like, hey, this is what these were back in the day. But I feel like for me, I'm just like, give us something juicy, give us something to look for. But if they're gonna give us only comic book lore where no one really knows anything, and again, it's episode 1 and 2, so I'm not gonna be so crucial about what they're doing yet, because I feel like you can't judge something that we don't even know how many episodes we're getting, right?
9.
We're getting 9 episodes, so we're 2 episodes in. It's a little scary to someone that's not a big comic book person. So for me, I'm just like, 2 episodes down. How many more of these are you guys gonna do?
Question for you.
Yeah.
Did you laugh?
A couple times.
Yeah.
A couple times, but I think it also.
Did you feel that like warm, fuzzy feeling between their chemistry?
Not really.
Okay, I did.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm really feeling their chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, as a couple, I believe and I buy it, and mainly I think I believe and buy it because of what Marvel has done in the movies, right? So for me, just seeing them doing this, I mean, at first doing the little accent of them being back in the 50s, I'm like, okay, what happened to her like old accent that went away sometimes in the movies too? But to me, I feel like they just need to. I get this episode 1 and 2. This is the setup. Maybe episode 3 is gonna go ahead and spin you and give you something else.
So I don't think we're gonna figure out what's going on until like midway through, like episode 5. I think 5 or 4 is where we're really gonna get deep into what's going on, and it's gonna open up Pandora's box, so to speak, and we're gonna be like, I think there's gonna be like a holy sugar honey iced tea moment where you're just like, oh, that's what's going on. I just have a feeling that midway through, like maybe episode 5 or 4, we're really gonna understand what's going on. If it's something to more do with S.W.O.R.D, or if it has something more to do with someone else is doing this to her, like Mephisto. Mephisto. Or if it's all WandaVision, and she's just making this alternate reality, and it's pulling people and more people into it. Yeah, she's making it bigger.
But I think they definitely need to start giving us some meat and potatoes. Right. I think if they start showing us things later on, like I feel like if episode 3 and then 4 is just like, oh, here's this little Easter egg for like 5 seconds, it's not going to be enough to carry the show. They need to show something big either on next episode or on episode 4 that's going to keep you intrigued throughout the whole season. Right. And
that's what I was saying by they're taking a huge risk doing it this way. Like, because the criticism that Marvel gets especially is they don't take any risks. Like, they're very safe with the same kind of beats to all their movies.
I mean, they made an Asian...
The hero's journey.
They made an Asian character white. That's pretty risky.
Not really. I mean... in terms of storyline and beats. Not in terms of who they cast.
I mean, I think Guardians of the Galaxy was a risk because
no one really knew much about it. That's true. But I mean, in terms of their storyline, they haven't really taken any risks. I feel like this is the biggest risk that they've taken, and some people are gonna love it and some people are gonna hate it. But I think what's gonna happen is people go back and rewatch it from start to finish as a whole package. It's gonna be phenomenal. Yeah. That's just the feeling that I get. I feel like it's going to be tough to judge the whole thing from 2 episodes.
We're going to definitely have to wait for that, right? Again, it's episode 1 and 2, so we don't have all the details of it yet. This could be just a huge setup that again, like you said, once we go back and watch, we finish watching the show, the season, and we go back and watch, they're like, oh, okay, I get it. This is what I missed, you know. But I don't know what they're setting up. They're definitely taking a huge risk as far as what they're doing to the show.
Yeah. So predictions.
Go ahead. You go first. I mean, I know you know a little bit more about what's happening in the comic books. You've seen a little more Easter eggs than I have. I'm the type of person that's like, hey, let me consume the product, like the show, the movie, for what it is. I don't want to know everything else that's going on in the back end, who's playing what, you know, because I feel like it just ruins in some way, sometimes, especially when they give too much on the side, right? But so without spoiling anything, what do you think?
I mean, I wouldn't consider this a spoiler because it's in the trailers. Clearly, she's pregnant. She's having kids. In the comics, they're called Wicked and Speed.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna come maybe in episode 3. We'll see little babies, and then because they're going 10 years ahead, so maybe episode 4 they're 10. So it'd be pretty cool. I don't know exactly how that's gonna work with them still being teenagers by the year 2020, because I think it's going through the decades like that. So I don't know how they're gonna handle that time period for the kids to be, because I think they're gonna have a teen Avengers of some sort. I could be wrong, but I think they're leading up to that. So I don't really know about predictions per se, but I guess my main thing right now is I believe that WandaVision is creating this reality, and no one has any control over her.
Yeah.
Like, she wasn't put into some facility by S.W.O.R.D. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think that she was put into some facility by S.W.O.R.D. and then she created this reality. I think she created this reality because she wanted Vision back so bad. Like, just think back to Endgame. Like, her feelings were so deep, and the way she came out in Endgame at the very end, when she's like, "You took everything from me," like she's freaking like
your face.
She's like, you know. So I feel like that mindset drove her crazy, and this is obviously leading up to Doctor Strange.
The something madness, Doctor Strange.
Yeah, Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
So I think that has something to do with the reality that she's created another dimension.
Yeah, I think that's similar to what I mentioned yesterday when we watched the show, right? That I definitely think that one, she has created something. So this is my thoughts on what's happening, right? She wants to bring back Vision so bad, right? So either she has Vision's body or somehow is connected to Vision. That's how Vision in the show somehow has some type of conscience, right? But at the same time, she's either dreaming these things, she's either manifesting these things when she's not fully, again, maybe awake or in control. I definitely think that she is being watched by, I think, S.W.O.R.D in this case, and it's mainly has to do with just the ending of each episode has someone watching her or watching the show that she's created, right? So somehow she's projecting what's happening in her mind into and someone's able to capture that, right? So in this case, if you look at like the episodes, like that, there was a S.W.O.R.D logo on the book that someone was writing. So I definitely think that at this point, this is way in the future, right? And something happened. So whatever we're watching has already happened, where they're like, "Hey, you need help, right? Let us help you out." And I think that's where the show's taking place, right? I do agree that each episode might be moving forward a couple years. I kind of saw that on the little things that I did see, that it went from black and white to like maybe like 70s, and it looks like in one episode she's like dressed like she's in the 90s. So I definitely think that we're gonna be going forward in time to the current time, the present day.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that the season might end, and that's going to be the spoiler, like, oh, shit, what's happening here, right? So that's what I think so far. I mean, I hope it does great. I really hope that they change up the pace a little bit on showing us a little bit more, giving us some meat and potatoes, like I mentioned, and give us some more juice and give us something more for us to talk about. Give us something to be excited for. So I wasn't that excited about episode 1. Again, I'm invested already because of what Marvel has done.
Awesome. Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. We love you guys. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel, Triple Side Podcast. Hit the like button. Comment below your thoughts on WandaVision. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.